Okay, so these are the exercises. So for point of view, there's DX, PX, RX. What does that mean?
Diagnosis, prescription,
And
something else I don't know.
prognosis. Yeah, okay.
I didn't hear that. Can you say it again?
Yeah, so diagnosis, that's DX, PX is prognosis, and RX is prescription. So this morning you did the work on honing your ideal client, thinking about what's island A, what's island B, what's the issue that you're helping people with, or if you have a product, what product you're focusing on maybe. Either way, we've got these three things. So the diagnosis is, I'll focus on service providers and then we can talk about the products. But for a service provider, it basically answers the question, what's happening? Yeah. When people are in pain, there's three things that people need in this order, I think. This would be my point of view. First thing people need is empathy. Just, wow, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. It sounds brutal. Second thing people need is some context. And this is why I'm talking about this. People need some sense of, why is this happening? And then guidance is the third thing. At the beginning of the day, somebody said, I want you to tell me what to do. But that's not where we start. People need a little bit of empathy first, and then some context. And the context is important because the pain of the thing is rarely the most painful thing. The most painful part of it is usually, I don't know why I have this pain. That's what debilitates us. Because if you have pain, but you know exactly what to do to remedy it, you just sort of grit your teeth and you can get through it. But what pushes you over the cliff edge of sanity is, I have no idea what to do. Yeah. Why am I broke again? I did everything right this time. How come I'm dating the same guy? It's my father again. I thought I was doing it differently. Why did the cancer come back? I was doing everything right. The lack of any context about it is so damning. And that's what so many of us are craving. Why is it not working? Why am I stuck on island A? I can't get off this island. I've tried 1,000,000 times. Why can't I? What people are sick of is bullshit promises. I'll get you off island A. No problem. Absolutely. We're going to get you to island B. I promise. We're so sick of that. What we want to hear from somebody is somebody to say, well, okay, yeah, you're on island A. You want to be on island B? Here's my take. Here's my approach. This is what I have found works, and here's why. Let me make the case for that. This is what we want to hear, so that I can make a decision if that makes sense to me or not to invest in. So this question of what's happening is big. What's happening underneath the surface, under the hood? Why won't this knee pain go away? I keep trying everything, They're saying I need surgery. Do I need surgery? No. Oh, here's what's really happening. Your hip is rotated forward, and your hip's rotated forward because this muscle's weaker. It's such a beautiful thing when somebody can just tell you, it's this. Boom. One of my dear friends in Toronto, she is a dancer, I guess, but she doesn't dance as much anymore. But she was traveling in Thailand. She just had this crippling pain in her leg. And for a few years, she was limping. And she went to all the holistic practitioners, and nobody could seem to help her. And she finally saw this osteopath, and he was, kind of feeling around. And they just said, because people were saying, it's your knee, that's your ankle, it's your hip. And nobody could agree. And he said, it's what is this area? The sacrum. And they said, it's so locked up right now. And we just need to relax this. But this is going to take a few months. But we're going to get this relaxed. And he's like, you'll dance again. And she could have just burst into tears, Context. What's happening? This is what's happening. We're just so hungry for this.
Can I just ask, did she dance again?
That was a couple of years ago. I don't know if she's shifted her work so much. She's doing more mentoring. I think there's still some of the issue there, but she wasn't even able to walk a block, and now that's all right. But yeah, we want somebody who can tell us here's what's really going on. Because if you don't know what's going on, you don't know how to intervene. You don't know where to start even. Okay, so that's the first thing. The prognosis is this question of what's likely. And this has two parts. This is kind of here's the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. Best case and worst case. This is where we're trying to be realistic. We're trying to give people some real talk. We're saying, look, okay, you have this situation, or maybe you're talking to a group. If you have this situation, I don't know you all personally, but generally, this is the prognosis of the best case scenario if you handle it as this. And we're not trying to shoot the moon here. We're not trying to overpromise. We're just trying to say, if you do what I say, here's what you can expect. I mean, I remember the relief I felt in hearing, and so many of my clients have felt hearing when somebody said, yeah, if you want to grow a business and you're really hustling and focusing, as a coach, it's going to take you about 3 years to get there with help, with, strategy. Okay. There's something relaxing about a prognosis. This will take some time. Here's what's possible. There's a woman, Beth, in the membership. She does work around chronic pain. She's in Wales. And I said, if you have an ideal client, and they're going to do all the work, they will do their part of the bargain, what percent would you feel comfortable guaranteeing that you could reduce the pain? And she said 60%, which was higher than I thought, actually. But you see what I'm saying? That's not saying 100%. It's realistic. This is, maybe you could find better somewhere else. But for me, that's what I can promise. That's the best case. But then here's the worst case. And we're not trying to create the fear porn here. We're not trying to, if you don't, you're going to be a failure forever and you're going to die, homeless and insane. Like, we're not trying to push but sometimes there is something real to say of this situation does not get better on its own. This is not going to magically resolve itself. It will probably get worse. And the worst case scenario is this. And again, trying to be realistic. We're not trying to push it further, but you're also not trying to candy coat it and say, oh, you'll be fine. If you don't handle this, life will go on. Because sometimes there really are consequences for people of not addressing this stuff. And then the prescription answers the question, well, what's needed? If you go to my website under my webinars, there's a 5-part point of view advanced, I think it's called. And there's a whole 2-hour webinar on this, what I'm going over very briefly here. There's a lot to say, but what's needed, then it's this question, tell me what to do. Well, here's what I think is needed in this situation. I think you need this. Yeah, it's the prescription. And again, that's what we're making the case for. It's so important to make the distinction. I'm not saying, here's my diagnosis, here's the prognosis, prescription is my program. It's not that. It's the prescription is these things. Of course, that exists in my program. But whether you get it from my program or anywhere else, this is the general prescription I recommend. Yeah? Any questions about that? So if you choose this exercise, the homework is this. Try to get 1-sentence diagnosis, 1 sentence for best case, 1 sentence for worst case, and 1 sentence if you can of what's needed, but just something brief, short, pithy. You may write more, but
I'm struggling to relate that to my scenario, which is 5 rhythms dance. There's so many different things people get from it.
Yeah.
And so how I can't seem to apply that.
Right, so you're doing the 5 rhythms dance stuff, and people are coming together because they like the boat. They like the 5 rhythms dance. And how does this apply? Yeah, if you're doing the boat thing, it may not apply as directly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The one flip on this is if you make products, the diagnosis. What I want to hear is your take on how do you think this product should be made. Basically, why do you make it the way you make it? Why do you use the materials? Why do you use the process you do? That's what I want to hear the case made for. So it'd be a little bit different than this, but I'm basically, you make your product this way. Why? So part of it could be you host your events this way. Why do you host them this way? Why 5 rhythms? Why do you structure it the way you structure it? You know, with the welcoming and the beginning and the ending and all this. Why do you, there's that you could do. But this may not be the exercise. Okay, there's the business model, the 4 S's. So the first S is that it's got to be safe. Safe for who? Them. Does your business model, the structure of your business, have a way for people to check you out for free, with no risk to them? Yeah, where they can just see if it's a fit. I remember I was looking for a therapist years ago, and I went to Psychology Today. You know, they got their listing, and it was just so painful to try to find a fit because they don't have photos. So there's something just a little abstract now. And they, yeah, what are they doing on Psychology Today? But and the write-ups were often, there was no niche, there was no specialization. It was just so hard to get a sense. Most of them didn't have a website. And what do you want if you're gonna, you know, a therapist? So now we're talking about the vulnerable stuff. What do you want? Well, you want to know about them. And so personally, here's what I want. I want to see a website. I want to see that they have a specialization in the area I'm struggling with. I want to know a bit about their story. I want to see photos of them. I'd like to see some video, just like 10 seconds even, just so I can get a sense of their vibe. I want to read articles by them. I want, you know, I want to just get a sense of their philosophy and their approach. Yeah, because I don't know if anyone ever, you spent a lot of money on a first session and like 10 minutes into the session, you realize, no. I did one session with a woman and halfway, she was just saying, so, and now, I just want to go over the, these are the ethics of psychotherapy, and these are the, all stuff I could have read in a PDF before, you know, but I'm paying her $180. And so I, halfway through the session, I said, are we going to actually do any work? You know, I came here for something, and this, maybe we should close the window for a second.
You want to shout about parallel parking?
Welcome to Newcastle. But yeah, I said, you know, we could have handled this before. Are we going to do any work? I said, oh, well, normally in this session, I said, because I'm a little upset that I'm paying $180 and we haven't, you know. And she said, I hear that you're upset. And now I'm angry. That I just paid $180 for something. If I'd seen a video of her, I would have known. Just the vibe. I would have said, this is not my person. So anyways, safety. Does your business model have ways that people can check you out? Second is it sustainable? Meaning sustainable for you. You know, financially. Can you keep this going at the level it is? Is this going to work for you? Are you going to burn out? Are you going to, yeah? Then there's, is it satisfying? This has to do with, like, is this giving you the lifestyle you want? Are you doing work that's meaningful for you? Is this a good time? Do you feel engaged? Your gifts are being used? I can't imagine doing anything better. I like the way I work with people, not just the work, but the you know, format of it. And then the last one, is it simple? And, or is it, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed by my business and I'm gonna snap. I have so many apps, I have so many spreadsheets, I have so many, you know, I'm about to lose it. Or is it just, yeah, my business is pretty simple. No problem. Nothing's really falling through the cracks. So the homework here is, first of all, rank yourself from 1 through 10. 10 being high, 1 being low. Just how safe is it for people to check me out? How sustainable is my business? How satisfying does it feel? And how simple is it? It's just to give yourself a sense of where are you at? What's the, for your business model, where's your strong point? Where's your weak point? And then you take the rest of the time and you just see, look at it and say, what could I do to boost these numbers? You could, by the way. If I were to say to you, because I know initially there's this, but Tad, that's why I'm at the workshop. I don't know. Sometimes it's education, sometimes it's motivation. If I said, well, I tell you what, I'm busy, I don't have the answer, but here's $1 billion. And if by the end of the year you can get 10s across the board on this, you get the $1 billion. Oh, you'd find a way. You'd figure it out. So just come up with what ideas you have. Okay, and the last one is a hub brainstorm for yourself. And so this is where you go back to the exercise this morning of who you wanted to reach. And you think, okay, so who are they? And where do I find them? And you just make as big a list as you can. Where would I find these people? Hot tip. There's multiple things from this morning's exercise, you know, around, where did I put it? Around, where did I cover it? Did somebody cover my thing?
What thing?
The bullseye.
It's on the flip behind the
No,
chair.
no, because that's the. Is it? Oh, I didn't take it off. There we go. Okay. Right. So one place you can find hubs is the issue. Like, where do people struggling with this issue, or people who are interested in this product? So, like with the 5 rhythms, people who are interested in 5 rhythms. Where do they hang out? They might also be where? They might also spend money where? What other things might they be into? So you can get it from either the boat you're selling or the journey. People who have back pain, where else are they spending money? What other kind of services are, all that? The musts, maybe not, but the psychographics, huge, right? Where do I find people who are a part of this scene? What are the hubs for that scene? You can find them. Demographics, not so much, but those two, you can find a lot of hubs. So if you're doing that exercise, just sometimes people only think about this, or they only think about the problem or the result, but they don't think about the boat. They don't think about the journey, or they don't think about the psychographics. So all of those can give you hubs. So those are the 3 exercises. Any questions about this? Okay. So you've got about 15 minutes just on your own. Then we're going to get into groups of 4 again, and you'll share the 15 minutes on your own. Enjoy.
This is just one of the subjects.